While pet sitting in South Lake Tahoe, I received some great news that my dad had booked a flight to Vegas to come meet me. The bad news though was that this left me just 2 weeks to cycle 575 miles through the desert, crossing icy rivers, climbing mountains in the snow, and carrying my bike across damaged trails. The journey would lead me up to a remote ghost town alongside the stunning jagged peaks of the Eastern Sierras, and finally through America's largest and hottest national park, before arriving in Las Vegas. I'm not going to have a break. It's going to be 14 days straight of cycling. It's going to be brutal, but it should be amazing. I've just had 10 days off doing some pet sitting in South Lake Tahoe, and it was a really nice bit of rest and relaxation, but it has gotten very cold. Winter is definitely here, and so I need to get south and out of the mountains pretty quick. Coyote. That's so cool. And look, there's another one over here. That's really amazing. There's been coyotes in the areas I've been cycling through, I think ever since Oregon. And I've heard them quite a lot at night when I've been trying to sleep. But I never thought I'd see one. I thought they were too elusive. That is really cool. So I've just said goodbye to the lovely paved road I was on, as I found a little shortcut to where I'm going today that takes me on some random dirt tracks that I have no idea what they're going to be like and if they're even public roads or not. But at the moment it looks like a pretty great road. And there's a lot of uncertainty to this part of the route because in about 5 miles there's a pretty big river that I need to cross. Otherwise I've got to go the long way around, but it seems like this road is going to take me somewhere pretty nice, so I don't really mind spending too much time here. Already come across my first hurdle. There's a locked gate here with a pretty big padlock on it. The fact that there's no trespassing or posted signs, and the fact that there's a pretty inviting way through gives me a bit of confidence that this might not be private land, so I think I'm going to go for it. It's a little bit stressful having all this uncertainty, but it's going to be an adventure. This isn't the river crossing I was talking about, but it is a river crossing all the same, and it looks very cold. Well, I can't even see the bottom of the water here, so it's hard to know where's the best place to cross. There's actually 2 dirt tracks that run almost parallel on either side of this river, so I think I'm going to go ahead a bit further and try and cross further up. Well, here's the alternative crossing. It's my last option, so it looks like I'm probably getting my feet wet already. Feet are now absolutely freezing, but at least I made it across. That does definitely make me worry a little bit about the next river crossing though, because that river is meant to be a lot bigger. All in all though, that went pretty well. Oh, it feels better already. This is the river that I was looking to cross. I think I'm going to leave it because I've only got an hour until sunset, and that is a pretty wide river. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the smart thing and head back down the other side and go the long way to the highway. I think it's only another like 6 miles, so I should be able to get there pretty soon, and then I'll probably only have to do about an hour of cycling in the dark. I am glad I came up here though, it's pretty beautiful. Whoops. So last night after I got onto that highway, it got dark pretty quickly. It started getting a lot colder, and what I didn't realise is along that highway I had to go over a mountain pass. So by the time I made it to the top, I think it had dropped down to like -6 Celsius. And then I had to drop down 1,200 feet. So by the end of that, I was just absolutely freezing. But I made it to this campsite and there was heated bathrooms, so I just went straight in there. And then I came out to find these 3 Rottweilers just staring at me. But luckily the owners were really nice and they invited me into the warmth of their RV, gave me some bourbon and some food, so it was quite a nice evening in the end. And I've woken up to find out that this lake I'm staying at is really beautiful. So I'm very glad I ended up coming here, and now I have to basically just head straight down the 395. It's going to be highway all the way today. Well, I haven't made it as far as I planned today. I don't know if it was the bourbon last night or what, but I just haven't felt up for it at all today. So I've kind of stopped at a pull-out by the side of the highway. It's kind of a nice little spot in the valley, right by a river. It's quite pretty, and there's plenty of wood around, so I can make a fire and keep myself warm tonight. Got a little bit of a problem here. My stove isn't working, so I am trying to get a little bit creative to cook my dinner tonight. So I'm making a little fire in the wind cover for my stove. I'm hoping I can get that hot enough to cook my dinner tonight. We'll see how it goes. So I had to make some adaptations, but it is working. As you can see, the water is boiling. I'm quite proud of that. Good morning. It is another very, very cold morning up here in the mountains, and my stove is not working, so I'm going to do this trick again. I'm very happy that I came up with it and it actually worked. But today I'm going to get myself into a town. I'm going to pick up some new gas, see if that's the problem, and if it's not, I'm going to have to figure out why the stove's not working and then potentially replace it if I need to. Because not only do I need that to cook my food, I need that to stay warm. And I've still got another like 4 or 5 days up in the mountains, and I really, really, really need it for that at least. So last job before I left was to filter some water because I'm completely out, and my filter is frozen, so I've got it thawing out in the sun now. I've just got to wait for it to unfreeze so I can get some water, and then I can make my way up the rest of this mountain climb. It's filtering very slowly, but it is filtering, which means I'm going to get a drink of water. That's all that matters. I've made it now to Bridgeport, where I've managed to pick up some more camping gas, and I've checked and my stove is working. It's already 2:30, so I've only got a couple of hours of sunlight left, so I won't make it all the way up to the top today, but I'm just gonna get as far as I can, get myself onto the dirt trails and find a good camp spot for the night. Well, I've packed up camp and now I just need to climb a couple of 1,000 feet, and I'm going to be in a place called Bodie Ghost Town, which, as the name suggests, is a ghost town. It should be pretty cool. I don't really know much about the history of it, but I'm going to be able to learn once I'm there. And on the way, it's all just dirt roads. It should be really fun. Should be good riding. I'm looking forward to it. Don't know if you can even see, but it's just started snowing. It's kind of cool. I really hope it doesn't snow too much, because that's not going to be fun. It's properly snowing now. That view behind me as well is just so insane. Why is there something so strangely beautiful about snow in the desert? I love it. I've made it to the top. I'm up at 9,300 feet, which I'd have to check, but I believe is the highest point of my trip so far. And it's December tomorrow, so this might not be the wisest choice. Now, I visited a couple of ghost towns on my way down through Oregon, but the way this has been preserved is incredible. This is just someone's gaff. Pretty cool though.
Oh, hello.
So like a lot of places in North America, this town only exists because of gold. Apparently a mine collapsed in 1875, revealed a rich ore vein and started the rush to Bodie. And this is that mine. This is called the Standard Mill. The Standard was the most successful of 30 mining companies operating in the Bodie mining district. Sadly, I'm not allowed in here without a tour guide, and I cannot see anyone around here to give me a guide. Now this is what remains of the bank, and obviously this is the bank vault. Whoa. That is really cool. Well, the rest of the buildings seem to mostly just be houses, and I'm sure there's a lot of history behind all of them and many crazy stories about things that happened there, but I do need to get going because I need to drop about 1,500 feet out of these mountains before I start looking for a campsite tonight, and the sun's going to set in probably an hour and a half. Really, you don't want to get stuck up here because it's already freezing now, and I do not want to know how cold it's going to be at night. If this wasn't a bikepacking.com route that I'm following right now, I probably would listen to this. But I'm gonna go for it. Can't be that bad, surely. This road is so rough. Thought I was gonna be flying down this. Just like that, I've made it down. I enjoyed that a lot, although it took a lot longer than I was expecting because it was pretty rough and it's already getting quite dark, so I better get my camp set up quickly. I have a feeling this spot is going to be pretty damn beautiful in the morning, so I'm looking forward to that. I've woken up to find that the place I've camped is just insanely beautiful. I can see miles and miles and miles in every direction, and there's just nothing out here but me and a load of mountains and a lot of sand. It's just my heaven out here. I so nearly bailed from doing this section of the route as well, because just about 30 miles that way there's the 395, which would have been a much easier way to go, and probably a much warmer way to go as well, because I wouldn't have had to go to 9,300 feet like I did yesterday. But I've chosen the hard route and it has paid off massively. It's just amazing out here. So yeah, it's time to get moving. It's going to be a great day. So I'm just flying down the highway looking for somewhere to camp, and look at this. It's so beautiful. So this campground's actually called Glacier Viewpoint because all the way up there you can see the Palisade Glacier, which is actually North America's most southern glacier, which is kind of cool, but it's also kind of sad because it means I'm not going to see another glacier again until South America. After a few miles of highway, I've made a quick stop to check out Manzanar War Relocation Center. Between 1942 and 1945, over 11,000 Japanese men, women and children were confined here, accused of no crime other than their ancestry. I'm not going to go too in depth into the details of the history of this place, as it is just really depressing. You know, it's just the story of thousands of people having their lives just completely taken away from them. It's just horrific, really. I'm now going to make my way all the way up there to an area called Alabama Hills, which is meant to be this beautiful scenic area, and there's campgrounds up there. But it's also the set of a lot of films, including I think Iron Man and Django Unchained, and hundreds of like classic Western films from like the 40s, 50s, 60s that obviously I won't have seen or even heard of. But it's just like 10 miles now of dirt roads to get there. The sun has just gone behind the mountains, so I've got to get a move on. But I'm really looking forward to getting there. It's going to be a beautiful spot. I reckon I might have to find another way. This is going to be interesting. That was some of the sketchiest hiker bike I've ever done. There was just like tons of really loose rocks, and there was a little section where it was just a super thin bit of trail with just a sheer drop next to it. That wasn't really fun at all. But now I get to enjoy a nice bit of good single track on the way down into this town. And after 275 miles, I'd made it to Lone Pine, the final town before Death Valley. Here I met another biker called Alani, and we began the long, tedious climb into the national park. On the way, I spotted a tarantula crossing the road. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And saw Joshua trees for the first time. Many hours of climbing later, we made it into Death Valley, and after a beautiful descent just as the sun was setting, we arrived in camp. After hours and hours of highway, I'm finally now in Death Valley. We had a 13-mile long descent down into this place called Panamint Springs where we're camping tonight. It was just glorious coming down. Now I'm staying at an actual campground, and I've managed to get a shower for the first time in I think 8 days possibly. I literally just feel like a new man right now. Today I've got a massive climb to do, all the way up there, and then I get to drop down 5,000 feet on the other side. After 2.5 hours of steep climbing, I've made it to the top of the pass. And now I get to enjoy a 5,000 foot descent. I'm very much looking forward to this. It's hard earned. Well, that was glorious. I think that is the fastest I've ever been on a bike. I got up over 45 miles an hour at one point then, and I'm now in Stovepipe Wells, which is actually at sea level, which is really weird to think considering about 3 days ago I was at over 9,000 feet. And I think after all of that, I've earned a burger. They don't do burgers anymore, sadly, but they do a buffet breakfast, which I will definitely be hitting up in the morning. That was very much needed. Today is day 10 since I last had a day of rest off the bike, and I'm really starting to feel it. My legs are just so sore, especially at night when I'm lying down. So now I'm gonna go check out the Mesquite sand dunes, where I think one of the Star Wars films was actually filmed. These are the sand dunes. I think the Tatooine scenes of Star Wars The Last Hope were actually filmed here, and probably some other films as well. It's a pretty cool area. And it's not easy to walk on, but I'm going to try and get myself onto the tallest dune, which is all the way over there. And I've made it to the top. Oh yeah. Wow, it is beautiful out here. Just see miles and miles in every direction, and there is just nothingness out here. It is so beautiful. Going down's gonna be fun. I've now made it to a place called Furnace Creek, which, considering how hot it is in December, is pretty understandably named. This is actually where I'm going to be staying tonight, but before I set up camp, I'm going to go on a little side mission and go check out a place called 20 Mule Team Canyon. Don't really know why I'm doing this to myself, because it's another 1,000 feet of climbing that I don't need to be doing, but hopefully it's worth it. I've made it now to the top of the canyon, and it was definitely worth the little extra trip, although it was about 1,500 feet of climbing in the end, so not great for my already tired legs. But it's a really cool area and definitely worth the visit. The other benefit of going up here is now on the way down, I can stop at Zabrinsky Point, which is kind of the most famous viewpoint in Death Valley, I think. And if I rush, I should be there just in time for sunset, so I'm gonna go check that out now. So today I'm meant to be climbing about 4,000 feet up this road here, which is going to take me to a dirt road where I'll be able to wild camp, because I'll be pretty upset if I leave Death Valley without wild camping at least one night under the stars. But before I do that, I'm going to go on a little detour to a place called Badwater Basin. Now this is the lowest point in North America. It's about, I think, 200 feet below sea level, and it's actually the place where the hottest air temperature ever has been recorded. So I've got to check it out. And it's pretty special this year, because down there, historically, there's been a lake called Lake Manly. However, it hasn't been there since 2005. But thanks to the record flooding this year, the lake is now back. And so I've really got to go check it out. Well, after 17 miles of battling headwinds, I finally made it to Badwater Basin, the lowest point in the US and the place where the hottest temperature ever recorded was. What a strange but incredible place to find in the middle of the desert. So amazing. Feel so lucky to be here while that lake's there, because that is just a rare experience. And I'd love to stay here a bit longer, but I do need to now find a ride, because it took way longer to get here than I planned, thanks to the headwinds. Had to wait maybe half an hour, but I managed to get myself a ride. And I'm back at the junction, so now the climbing begins. I just need to make it 1 mile off a paved road down this dirt road before I'm allowed to camp. But getting there involves climbing about 4,000 feet across 30 miles. So it's going to be a tough afternoon, and it's already very, very hot. I've made it to the dirt road, so I just need to ride another mile and then I can start looking for a campsite. That has absolutely killed my legs. It was just 3 hours straight of cycling uphill. And this is day 12, I think, or day 11 since I last had a rest. Yeah, my legs aren't feeling good, but I think it's going to be worth it just for the experience of wild camping in Death Valley. Plus, the stars tonight are going to be incredible. It should be such a beautiful night sky. I can already see Jupiter and it's not even completely dark yet. I'm now officially out of Death Valley. What a weird and wonderful place that was. I had a really good time there. Last night was a windy and sandy night, and there is now just sand all over everything. But I am in the desert, so I can't be too surprised. And after yesterday, my legs are now absolutely battered. But I'm just 2 days of cycling away from Vegas, and it's looking very positive that I'm going to make it in time to meet my dad. There's a serious amount of climbing that I've got to do over the next 2 days, but I can get through it knowing that I've got a week of rest ahead of me, and that week is going to be greatly appreciated. Well, I'm in Pahrump now, enjoying some gas station food and coffee. And this is the last town before Vegas. So today I basically just need to make my way up into these mountains over there and find somewhere to wild camp. And tomorrow I'll be in Las Vegas. So today I'm going to be in Vegas, and I originally planned on taking a bit of a scenic route, which is quite a lot harder. But it's looking like the scenic route isn't actually that scenic, and my legs really hurt. So I think I'm gonna make my way down to the highway and just smash out the last 40 miles on the shoulder, get it done nice and quick. Probably won't be the most exciting day of riding, but sometimes you just gotta get it done. Also, a quick bit of advice, never prop up your bike against a Joshua tree, because when you're unloading your stuff and you bang your head against this, it really hurts. Well, I've made it now to the top of the mountain pass, and I'm basically just relieved to be up here because my legs are just completely exhausted. I've really struggled today. I've not got much strength left in them, and fortunately now it's just downhill all the way into Vegas. It's only going to take me about another half an hour, but I'm going to head straight to a warm showers host who has kindly agreed to look after my bike while I'm with my dad over the next week. Well, I've now dropped off my bike with the lovely warm showers host that are letting me leave it there, and I've just been to REI to pick up some new clothes, and now I'm going to go to the airport and see my dad. Just got to figure out where in this airport he is. Hello. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you.